What's up, guys and gals? Thanks a lot for checking out my FPC virtual channel. And what we're going to present to you today is a really cool tutorial on how to create the green screen effect. And basically it's removing your background.
Thanks for visiting FPC Virtual, the place for apps, tutorials, and technology tips.
Welcome, folks. I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the FPC virtual channel, and y'all folks are tuning in to the OBS, Open Broadcaster Software Studio. Pretty much I've been doing it for over about 3 months, going on 4 months now on OBS, and I'm learning how to utilize this tool effectively. So what you're going to do, you're going to learn pretty much the controls. You have File, Edit, Profile, Scene, Collection, and Help. And then in the lower left corner, you have Scenes, Sources, Mixer, and then you have Scene Transitions. Just try to focus on this lower portion most of the time when you're using OBS. The upper portion is just more of like the controls to control a specific thing like a file. And you go into the file, you can show recordings, remux recordings, you can go to settings. Settings is basically going to take you to stream settings, output, hotkeys, stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about that. You set it up one time and then it should be set. And then you can go in and do a little minor adjustments. So let's go back down here to scenes. This is really the most important part. Scenes. What this means is that you can add multiple scenes into your recording of live streams or in your recording to your desktop or laptop PC or Mac computer. So you can utilize through this section here to add multiple scenes. Right now I have one scene and that's the default. So this is how it's going to start up for you. And then you got sources here. You can click the plus or the minus option here. So the plus option, which are sources, will add images, browser source, which is like a website or whatever, if you want to add a website to demonstrate or talk about a website or blog or whatever you have, or you can do tutorials or whatever. You can do media source. Media source would be video, or it could be more like what do they call it, animated GIF. I'm having a problem with an animated GIF that actually is causing some kind of errors on OBS, so I had to create a new scene to start out just to show y'all folks this. You have text, free type 2, so you can try text. If you type across the screen, you'll be able to do that through text. You have display capture. Display capture pretty much captures the whole entire screen of your desktop or laptop PC or Mac computer. So it's like mirroring, you know, what's on your screen onto your live stream or onto an actual recording. If you're trying to record your laptop or desktop inner workings or on a website or something like that. Very similar to browser source, except this is for your desktop. It captures the actual screen. So you can go through window capture, and that can basically choose to select a specific window if you have a window open or not. And then you have game capture. Game capture, obviously it's straightforward, capturing games. Then you got video capture. This is to capture your webcam or any kind of digital camera that you have connected to your PC that can actually register as a webcam, and or your video recording devices that can register as a webcam. It can also activate one of your smartphone gadgets if you have that tied in through a third-party app. So you can do it that way. Then you have audio input capture and output capture. I use the audio input capture to actually filter the type of audio I want. So there's different ways to utilize this. Let's go into video capture and show you folks how to set up your first scene. So this is scene none. There's no actual number, it's just scene. So we're going to add a video capture device. We can call it video capture 1 just to state this part, where you can actually name it. You can name each one if you wanted, or you can leave it as the default name that's there. It chooses to actually change the default as it sees fit, and then you can add existing. So I'll show you how that works. Since this is an existing capture, let's go and select my webcam. I have a Microsoft LifeCam HD 5000. So you'll see my background. This is my background here. Currently my background is set up to have a blue screen, so that way I can remove my background. So let's click OK, and that's basically going to get you started. You can actually drag and drop the corners or drag and drop the corners to maximize and minimize. You can, drag the corners to minimize and maximize. You can drag and drop where you want your object to go, your actual source, which turns into a drag and droppable object. So any source that you add in here, you can drag and drop and resize. So keep that in mind as well. Those are things that you can do. You can also use transform, I believe. Let's go to right click it and then go to transform, and you can choose to play around, rotate 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, clockwise, 180 degrees, flip horizontal, you know, stuff like that. You can play around how you want based on transforming. And right now it's rotated horizontally, I believe, flipped 180 degrees. So let's flip horizontal. See, so you can change the angle of where it's projecting towards, or whatever the case may be. So we can also fit to the screen. We can stretch. We can fit to screen. Fit to screen will actually center it, so you don't have to drag the corners, and that will center it directly in the dead center. So it can look much more professional and not out of placement and position. And then you can do stretch to screen. That will stretch your screen all the way out and make you look like a wide-faced person, obviously, because your webcam comes out as a box when you're utilizing it as an actual source. So let's go to fit to screen, go back to that. You can also center it to screen as well. It's very similar to fit to screen. Let's go to center to screen. Let's see what that does. And it basically does the same thing. So, alright. So let's go and add another source. We're going to add a media source. And I'll go for, you can name this as well if you want, and then add existing. If they have that existing type of source already plugged in, if you already plugged it in and added it, then you can add an existing source to any of your scenes. So that way you don't have to keep adding the same scene, or same source I should say, to a different scene. So let's go into my OneDrive photos and try to capture a photo. Say I wanted to bring this one in. Actually, this is a pretty good one. I like this. This is something I caught over in Long Island. It's an actual photo of a tree. You'll see in a lake. You can loop it if you wanted to loop it. Since it's a GIF, it's going to animate. I don't want to play with that. Actually, let's cut that one off. We're not going to use animated GIFs, because animated GIFs is gonna cause a problem. So we go to a video file, and you can capture any of your video files, not no animated GIFs. And say I wanted to put this one in, intro video. There's an MP4 file, so that would be the best type. And then you can put a loop. That's one of the best video types to play around with. So we're gonna click OK. And when you first do it, you're going to notice that you don't see your webcam. So how do you get your webcam in front? Let's first transform this and send it to fit the screen. So there you go with that. So now I'm fitting it into the screen. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go down and hit the down arrow. So we got an up arrow and down arrow. That's basically overlaying one object on top of the other through your sources. So we're going to go and click the down arrow, and that puts me in front. But I'm having an issue here, right? You can't see through this. It's not see-through. So we want to make this green screen or blue screen see-through. And that's something that's physically behind me in my home. I put like plaster, and I used an actual blue textured, you know, what is it, nylon cloth or whatever. And so what we're going to do, we're going to right click over here on, let's go to video. So we're going to go to the video source and right click it, and then we're going to go into filters. So that's basically how you get to the actual effects to affect that background. You have to go into your video capture source. And then what we're going to do is click this plus option where it says affect filters. The -1 will remove it, the +1 will add it. So we're going to add it and then go to chroma key. We have all other options here, don't worry about those if you want to get rid of your background. You can also use color key, but we're using the chroma key effect. It's much more accurate. I'm going to click OK, And then what you're going to do, you're going to notice that the background is already trying to disappear because it's on green. So if you had a green screen, everything would disappear, which is the same thing that's going to happen when I select blue. You can also select magenta if you chose to select magenta, or custom, and you can select and use an eyedropper tool to eyedrop one specific point that will select the color off of the screen. I can show you both ways. Let's do the blue. We'll go to blue first, and now you notice that it got rid of all of the blue, but I'm not really seeing my face too well, right? It looks weird. So what you want to do is go to similarity, which is right under that color key type. You're going to go to similarity, it says 1 to 1000, and then smoothness says 1 to 1000, and then under it says color key split reduction 1 to 1000. This one you seldom are going to use. Don't even play with that one. The key color split reduction and anything under it, don't worry about that. Let's play with similarity and smoothness. First we'll start with similarity and then scroll it to the left. So we use the bar with our left click mouse button, and we start scrolling it over to the left until we become solid and visible. You see? Make sure your whole entire image is solid and visible, and that should be good with that. Lighting is really important because lighting is going to control the colors on your face and also light up your whole entire outfit that you're wearing or whatever. Make sure you don't have contrasting colors directly, you know, proportional or exactly identical to the kind of color that you're removing in the background. If you're removing a green screen or a blue screen, don't have that same identical color when you're wearing certain clothes. So obviously that's going to be removed as well, just like you just seen most of my face got removed and everything. So let's go a little bit more back. There we go, and that removes that. Now with smoothness, you should be able to remove some of that blue line around you or green line, and there you go. That should look pretty decent and respectable. If you have a line up here, like dots or lines up here on the top, you can go and crop it, and you can add with the plus button here to crop it. So let's go to add a crop. Hit the plus button, go to crop, click OK, because this is just the naming of it. Don't worry about that, just to name your filter. And then we go to top. See where it says top here? You got left, top, right, and bottom. You're going to click the plus part, and it's going to remove the top. It's basically clipping the top to get rid of any excess errors in the upper portion. Or you can type in a number in there if you wanted to. It's basically removing the upper pixels. So there we go, the upper half. And I'm almost there. I'm very close. So I basically closed it. Now you can notice that there's a little fuzz going on in my hat, and that has to do with the lighting, obviously. See, so poor lighting, more fuzz. When I change the angle of my hat, the fuzz starts to disappear a little bit. So keep that in mind. Let's go back. We're going to right click and then try to get rid of all that fuzz. So we go to properties. Sorry, not properties. Let's cancel that. My bad. We're going to go to filter again. And in the filter section, you're going to go back to chroma key and then try to get rid of all that irregularities. So you go back with the similarity, back and forth. Try to make it as solid as possible. And your smoothness, you gotta play with your smoothness. Now if you go too far with the smoothness, it's gonna make it disappear, make your colors disappear. If you're having lighting issues, it's because it's too bright over here, and I'm having a little brightness issues on my nose. So just try to work it where you can get a really solid look. And then let's see, I'm working it now. Try to get it solid, make my hat solid. There we go. Now if you can't figure out how to get that part working, You can also play around with contrast and brightness and things like that. But 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work out too well depending on your lighting. So you want to improve your lighting until you can get the best effect. So remember I was telling you can drag this and move it out the way or whatever. You're going to double click on that object. So you can double click your image and make sure that it's highlighted here in the sources. And then you can drag the corners to make it look much more professional, and that will showcase you in one corner of the actual screen. So if you're doing like YouTube gaming or whatever, you can actually build really cool template behind you and have like something really looking awesome, professionally awesome looking, and then have your gameplay here. So that's just one of the tips for y'all folks. Hopefully y'all folks like this actual tutorial video and intro to OBS, the Open Broadcaster Software Studio. There's much more entailed and detailed in how to make it work. Up here, like I said, you got the file, you have edit, you have profile. Edit just basically does exactly what I was doing, but maybe a little bit more rapidly, instead of having to right click or whatever and select the options, so you can still do different things with that specific source that's selected, or that specific scene that's selected. Let's try to create another scene so y'all folks can see why you would need multiple scenes. So we're gonna hit the plus option here. It's automatically gonna default and name it one up above the original default name. So we're gonna click OK. So this is now going to be considered to be scene 1. This is scene 0 if you wanted to call it scene 0. And remember my camera, I added the video source. Well, it's not there no more. So we're going to click plus. If we want to add it back, we go to video capture device, and then we go to add existing. So that way you don't have to go and reset everything. Because if I tried to add it again, 9 times out of 10 it won't allow me to, because I'm running it on scene 1. So you go and click OK, and it adds it, and there you go. So now I'm over here and I could be talking about something else in a different scene. See what I'm saying? So this could be like a movie setup or something, and each scene could be a different act that's going on, and then you go and you tap the different scenes that you want, and that will actually bring in the new scene. So this is kind of like how Hollywood does it. It definitely is like how Hollywood does it. They probably have much more advanced tools to make it work with CGI and all this different special effects and all kinds of different tools that they have to incorporate much more higher, quality visuals. So, and sources or sources. So we can add more sources. If I wanted to add more sources, I can actually add an audio. If I wanted to add an audio file. Now let's see if I have any audio files, and it should work out to add an audio file as well. So let's go to downloads. I should have some audio files in the downloads. If I don't have any, then I'm kind of SHT out of luck. So here we go. We got bikes and riders, or / riders, _ riders I should say, and you could loop it if you wanted to loop it or not, and that's going to add audio in the background. So if you wanted to adjust the audio, you have this over here, the mixer, and you can go in and adjust the audio. So I can shut it off, I can shut it back on, and I can reduce the sound. So that should work for those who want to add some audio while you're actually streaming live and trying to create a fully immersive virtual experience. So there you go with that. You can hit the plus and add more sources as you see fit. And then say you wanted to go back and forth, right? And you wanted to create a hotkey or something like that to go back and forth instead of having to tap the mouse all the time. You can go to File and then go to Settings. When you enter your settings, you go to Hotkeys, and then you notice that you already created, you have a scene and you have scene 1. See, scene here and then scene 1. So what do you want to do with them? That's the question. Switch to scene. You can type in an actual key here if you wanted to. Excuse me. You can type in a key if you wanted to. So say I wanted to type the 1 key, or end. That's off of the actual number pad. and then we go to switch to scene, and we will type 2. See, so now whenever I end or I type down, these are from the number pads, the keypad off the number pad. I can actually go back. Let me go back and then type 2, the actual 2 button, and 1. We'll do it like that. You can also activate the media source, any of your media sources or your webcams. You can mute it, unmute it, push to talk, push to mute. We're going to click apply and see if it works. We'll go back and then type in 1 and then type in 2. See, so it does work. It goes back and forth, and that's pretty cool. So if you've seen any fuzz and all that stuff, that's because of the lighting and the positioning of my actual webcam as opposed to the lighting that is being received off of my physical body where I'm actually positioned. So your lighting is definitely going to play a huge effect on whether or not you're going to come out looking better with higher quality or not, and whether the background's going to be fully immersive, invisible or not. So there you go. I'm done with this part of the tutorial. Hopefully y'all folks learned some good stuff. As you can see, these red bars, like I said, is indicators whether or not you're going to scroll up in size or down in size. And you can downscale yourself really, really small. You can be like, hey, how you doing? I'm over here. And then I'm really getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Whatever. You know, play around. Use your creativity, your imagination. And you never know what you can create. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you could do. So, Joe Love and Peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. I'll see you next time in the next tutorials. The next one should be a little bit more in detail as well about other stuff. I like to do long tutorials because it can help you go further and further into things that maybe you haven't done yet and you haven't created. And you never know how far you can take it, because you can do other stuff that maybe other people can't do. So like a good example would be if you own a garage, right? You can turn your garage into a studio and then put green walls all the way around it, green screen walls or whatever, right? And then really set up differing sections of it for differing locations of scenes, right? And then you can work on using virtual stuff, virtual sets or virtual characters, maybe even animated characters on other apps and tools, and then merge it together through using green screen as well. Remove the background of that, remove your background, and then combine it to a unique background if you wanted to do it that way, or whatever other way that you can create. So there's a lot of stuff, man. It's amazing what you can do with green screens and how you can merge yourself into different arenas. So if you like that, please do hit the thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel if y'all folks want to watch more and more of these tutorial videos. If you think it's something that's going to impact other people, please do share it socially, because this kind of video and footage and all this stuff that I created is all for free. I did it for free. OBS is an open software platform. It's free for all to utilize all across the online world. Just realize that your PC should be upgraded to its maximum potential. Try to get the best PC as possible to get the best, video quality and audio quality and all those types of things. If you have any audio issues, I'll be doing a tutorial for audio adjustments for those who want to learn how to do that. And my audio had an issue for many, many years. I didn't even realize that aspect too much of how to adjust it and how to make it work. But with OBS, I can really do it well. I haven't upgraded my audio tools, recording devices, or whatever. I'm just trying to get everything going. So hopefully y'all liked it, and that's it. I'm out. Peace. Thanks a lot, folks, for showing up and watching the tail end of this video or the rest of the whole entire video. If you have watched it, that's awesome. I'll be doing some more tutorials and going into more extensive stuff about OBS, the Open Broadcaster software. You can do many differing scenes. As you can see, I'll show you folks all the different ones that I have on this particular one. All white background. This is really hard to do because sometimes the static shows up on the screen. You can manipulate it, maximize it, and move it up a little bit so you can appear as if you're in a all white background area. Really cool, right? And then let's go with this one for tutorials of iOS devices. Then we got all black background. Pretty cool, right? And then we got back to this one. The next one, this is just intro. Another black background. So there you go. That's pretty much all we got for now. I'm just playing around with different things, and it's going to be awesome if you folks merge yourself into the virtual sets and create all kinds of different things. You can really bring your viewerships up, and so utilizing OBS is highly recommended. Hopefully y'all folks learned a little bit from this video and you're willing to watch more. If you want to watch more, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorials. Thanks a lot for checking it out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.